let me say that you all know I've been to a lot of these before, right? And they always end up with folks yelling and screaming. And I just want you to know that that's not going to happen today, okay? If you have concerns, because if you start yelling, I'm just going to leave, okay? So if you have concerns, feel free to express those. I was told that you all were concerned about the garbage pickup,
Yes, that's one.
police presence,
Yes.
and businesses in Inkster.
The last one I'm not, but the first two, yes.
Those are the three issues that you wish to discuss today. So like I said, I'm always at your disposal. Y'all know how many times I've been over here, what I do and how I do it and all this other stuff. So if you have concerns, you should issue them now. But let me explain to you how certain things work. Last night at the council meeting, and the council meeting is one of the things you have to attend if you want to know what's going on. They just passed last night what do you got there? You got one of Stephen's? You go, girl. Good guy. Anyway, they passed the GFL new contract. That was last night at the council meeting. So if you had any input, because believe it or not, GFL, in their contract, they have penalties for not picking up garbage. They had to pay us over $100,000 for what happened last year. Okay? That was in their contract. Plus, we got incentives. We got perks from them because of what they did. Like we get an extra roll-off. It's all in the contract, but if you wanted input, it's a little late now because they passed it last night. Okay? So we have our current contract with GFL, which anything at City Hall that you want to look at, except people's paychecks, you know, and their personal items, you can, either asking or through a FOIA. We all know what a FOIA is, right? Freedom of Information Act, where governments and things have to tell you what you ask for, to a certain extent. So now, with that in mind, we can talk about GFL now if you like.
So what happens now since the contract has been signed? What if they're still not picking up the trash?
They still have to go back.
What the process would be to...
Well, here's the one thing you have to do. You always have to tell somebody. Right. Because one of the reasons they ended up giving us so much money was because of the documentation certain people did about when their trash wasn't picked up. Every time they miss a date, they have a penalty they have to pay. And that penalty is assessed to each and every house that didn't get their garbage picked up. So if you didn't get your garbage picked up, then what you need to do is contact DPW and let them know. That way they have an accurate number. Now, I did bring these. How many of you all have an Inkster City calendar? That's it? Well, I have some up here for you. But
you got it.
I got it.
No, well, I just brought them in case there were people who didn't have them or they lost theirs or whatever. But what I brought this for is to impress upon you what you need to do in order to make the people you're calling more responsive to you. And one of them is, just like this, how you make a complaint. And a lot of people don't want to take the time to write down things. But I learned when I first started in business that if it ain't on paper, it didn't happen. That's just the way things are run, okay? So what I'm saying is that with this calendar, say, what month is this? September. Who cares? Anyway, what you do, say your garbage wasn't picked up. Ours is usually picked up on Tuesdays. Unless there's a holiday, then it's the following day, okay? So, say you didn't get your garbage picked up on Tuesday. You contact DPW. Put right here on the 13th, Tuesday, 10 p.m., whatever time you called them, and who you spoke to. Always say, and who am I speaking with? You know? And put that on there. Now you got a record. right? And every time it happens, if you go to your calendar and you write this down, I mean, you don't have to write anything long and drawn out, so that when you call me or whoever you're calling, I say, who did you talk to? How many times have you done this? And people say, I don't know. Some woman there. Well, that's not going to help me, because some woman there going to say, did nobody call me? You know? But if you have a name and a record and a date and a time, we can work with that. Okay? So you all are welcome to these calendars, but remember to, whenever you're calling someone for any reason, have a tracking mechanism for it, you know, so you can call back, because most people don't expect you to know that, and once you do, they know you're serious about whatever complaint you're doing. So, like I said, we've settled the DFL contract, we've gotten things from them. One of the things we got, which sort of is baffling to me, is they offered to give us $10,000, well, they didn't offer, they were asked to give $10,000 for the Summerfest. Okay? They did that. Like I said, we got $100,000, we got extra roll-offs. There are a number of additional things. The old contract is still in effect that has those penalties. And also, our rate is $11.25 an hour. I mean, $11.25 per unit. So what that means is that everybody else is paying $14 and $15 to have those rollaways fixed up, okay? So, but that's the end of it at this time. What you need to do, though, if you have a problem with them, to contact DPW. Jerome Bivens handles all of that. And he has, like, I guess, 2 or 3 new workers there who will be able to take your call. And if you don't get an answer, write that down too. No one answered. Because there's those complaints all the time throughout the city where it says, I called and nobody answered. And then they switched me to this, and then this went crazy, and it did this and it did that. So we understand that those things happen. But if you keep a record, you know, okay? So does anybody else have any concerns where GFL is concerned? Come on, y'all, ask me here. No?
I was online last night, so I already knew. I was on the Zoom for city council meeting last night.
Okay,
So
that's
with the
good.
information you just provided, I'll make sure that the residents are informed about the process on how to make complaints if they have them and what they should do when they call.
Okay, and that's anything. I don't care if you call it DTE, you know, your doctor's office. It's always date and time and who you spoke to, because you can always go back to that. Okay, so now next you were talking about police presence,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Don't you all have your own officer?
We do, but the presence is really basically after the 5 o'clock hour.
That's when you want police here.
We need it because it's like after 5 o'clock, it's like the OK Corral cuts loose. It's like they just like they know that they're not coming through. They're not going to ride through.
Okay, your contract with the police department, did it specify when the police would be here?
Yes.
Which was what?
Well, according to the officer, she said she's only here from 8:30 to 5.
And that was okay with you all at that time? That was okay? I mean,
Not
whatever
with me,
you
but-
agreed to when you started this is what they're gonna do. If you
Right.
didn't ask for them, I mean, you're paying for this.
Right.
So it should be what you need. And something like that could have been done like, okay, we need one, whatever times a day you need them. You all should have gotten together and said, we need them at this time, and at this time, and at this time. Now, if they were giving you 8 hours a day, you say, well, I need those 8 hours split up between here and here and here. And especially here, okay? Because that's the contract. And as long as you pay, never, and this is just me personally, never pay for something you ain't getting,
I agree.
you know? So, has anybody gone, is there another negotiation for this now?
It's good though. Did you hear what she asked?
So we're in our last contract with the city of Inkster. So this is the last year essentially for the current contract. Yeah, if we continue, there will be negotiations for the future.
Okay, but right now, asking them if she could work maybe 4 hours in the day and 4 hours after dark, is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think, Councilman, I think that I'm not going to speak for the group, but I think it's not necessarily the contract. I think it's the presence. Like, well, I think we knew contract was signed before I started here, right? So I think you'll never have 24-hour police presence in the city, no matter where you're at. And I think we got to be realistic of the expectation. The officer that we have is during the day, and it's like a liaison, right? I think what I hear mostly is, like Commissioner Moore said, is after 5, just the presence and visibility of the police. I think more so than contractual. You know,
well, I'm just saying what your contract says, because that's what they're going to come at you with, whatever you agreed with, because that's business, okay? Right. And make no mistake about it, no one loves you to the point they're going to give you something, you know. So, but what you have to say to them is that, okay, we have her. We want the presence after dark. You know, now she can split her hours up anywhere she wants to as long as you get that presence after dark. But there's another thing you have to remember. Inkster has no police officers. None here. I mean, I think they have maybe 19. And that's split up to 3 shifts, 24 hours a day. The officers are complaining they're being worked to death. Do you know what the starting salary for a police officer is in Inkster? $16. Oh. You can make that 16 something. I don't know what the dollar sign are, but you can make that at Arby's. Yes, you can. Okay? So what you have is people risking their lives. And what you also have to remember is that we're right now going into budgets. Right. Everybody wants money. Guess who don't have any? Go ahead, take a wild guess. Exactly, not a dime and no prospects into getting it, okay? But you have a mayor who's still trying to give people raises. Last night, Yvonne said she heard it. We, at the end of this contract, at the end of this fiscal year, will be $1.3 million in debt. And that's before he's given anybody any raises. Okay? So, right now, you don't have, the police officers are working practically for nothing. I mean, the seasoned ones make about $21. He's proposing giving them a raise that'll raise them to $28. But he wants to give the HR position a raise that's $12,000 that would bring her salary up to $35 an hour. Which would you rather have?
The police.
Would you rather? Because she ain't coming to help you when somebody breaks in your house at night, okay? So, and if you're not there to say this to him, and trust me, I say it, okay? Yes. Anyway, I will say it to him, all right? But it takes 4 votes of council to change anything that he says, okay? Now here's the problem. If he has 3 votes, and there are 3 votes that say no, he gets to break the tie. Where do you think his vote is going?
To
what he needs, he wants. But you have to understand, you don't have the finances to do that. And I'd love to give everybody what they're worth, but I just don't have the money. The fire department just hit us up with their contract. We're losing advanced life saving. Okay? The ALS, there's 2 kinds they have. They have basic life saving and advanced life saving. Advanced life saving has an actual EMT paramedic. The basic life saving has just, guys who know how to give you CPR and an aspirin. Now, I don't see giving one position $12,000 and I'm losing this. I would rather see EMTs there if I gotta give the money up, you know?
Right.
But if you all as citizens aren't saying this to him, I can talk till I'm blue in the face. And if he got 3 votes, he can do what he wants to do, okay? That's why you should understand elections have consequences. They have consequences. So, what were we talking about? We were talking about police. So really, you can make a request that you have extra patrols, but if they're going from run to run to run to run to run, because there's only 2 of them working, to drive through your facility is going to be probably not high on their list of priorities, all right? What you can do as individuals is begin to watch things and report things and say to, form a neighborhood watch, okay? Form a citizen, nobody wants you to confront anyone. They just want you to be their eyes and ears. Do you know if a police officer is in a bank and he's armed and he sees a robbery happening, do you know what his job is at that point? No, no, it's not.
Call for backup.
His job is to observe and get all the information he can so they can catch who did it. He is not to take any aggressive action, okay? Because he could get somebody hurt. But if he happened to get a plate number, or if he's got a good description of the guy, or if he's got this, there are forces that can work after that to make sure that this person is caught. So all we're saying to you is you need to help protect yourself by saying, and you don't have to say nothing to nobody. It can be done anonymously. There is an anonymous tip line at the police department. You don't have to leave your name. You don't have to say, I live here. You don't have to say any of that. You just tell them where it's happening and what you're seeing. And if you can get a plate, excellent, okay? Now, don't make a mistake in thinking that just because you got a plate, that's the person who did it. Because you loan your car, right? And some people you loan it to ain't exactly wonderful when they get in there, But you know who had your car at that time, right? So this is another mechanism for them to find out who did it and stop it from happening. Because here's a saying I like to say. Whose fault is it the lion eats gazelles? The gazelle, the lion happy with the situation, okay? The gazelle has to do something to protect himself, okay? So that's all I'm saying to you all, is if you get the information, and I tell you what, if you get the information and they don't do anything with it, that's when you call me, okay? When you give them the information, and like I said, what do you need to do with that information? You write down who you talk to and the date and time you talk to them. That's what I need when I go back and start yelling at them. This person called you 3 times about this. On this date, and this date, and they spoke to him, and him. What did he do about it? Because that's how it works. I'm telling you, nobody's just going to do it out the goodness of their heart. A lot of things have to be, I'm sorry, yes ma'am.
I just need to work it. Okay. I'm not in this group. I'm in Lemoyne. If I call, my dispatch goes to Westland.
Right. No, it's Dearborn. Oh, you said Lemoyne goes to Westland?
Yeah.
So when we call, they automatically ask us for our name.
Yes, they do.
They automatically ask me where I live.
Where you live, they ask you for your
They
name.
ask
Now,
me for my
Where you
phone.
live.
Here's the problem with that.
So that's
Is
where I
if
live.
you're are you dialing 911 or
Yes,
you
ma'am.
dialing a direct number?
No, I'm
well, they
dialing
got your
911.
information if you dial 911. That's what 911 is. Your name comes up, your address comes up. How do you think when people hang up after dialing 911, they know where to come? Okay, but if you use this calendar once again in front of the police department, there is an anonymous tip line number that you can call.
Where our problem is coming in at, when stuff is starting to happen, especially over in Lemoyne or over in Parkside or on Henry Road, because we do deal with Parkside or Park Lane Apartments as well, which is not our entity. When we call about a problem, they're not even sending it to Inkster for hours. That's the problem what we have. So when I called, the last time, I just called straight to the police station and talked to Levo myself. And she was like, I didn't even get it.
You know, I'm really not sure that we are dispatched by Westland, because we went into Dearborn Heights dispatch recently. So I'm gonna have to check on that before I can definitely tell you that, because we pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to Dearborn for dispatch. We used to be dispatched. Huh?
When I called, the lady told me that dispatch was coming in at Westland. And I said, okay, so that means I need to call Inkster? And she says, no, I'll let them know.
And once again, you have to remember, depending on the length of time you have, depends on who's available. And police departments are all about prioritizing. If they have a rape and they have a murder, guess where they going? To the murder. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times your response time depends on the number of officers that you have working, which is very rarely more than 2 on nights here in Inkster.
They no longer have the auxiliary police in Inkster?
Well, the auxiliary police are not allowed to ride without an officer. They have to have an officer there instead of if something jumps off. See, it's all those little intricacies that nobody knows about. But that same thing is that you don't really care. You just want help when you call. You don't care the logistics behind it. You just want somebody to come. But these are the things you're going to have to come to that council meeting. You're going to have to come to that mayor and express. Tell them we don't care if we don't have HR. We want police, you know? Or we don't care if we have this. We need this. But you have to make your voice heard. There is nobody that's going to sit here and say, let's see, I divine that Denby needs, I have no idea.
Some
Okay?
of these people scared. Some of these people don't want to come out and say nothing too much. I've been here 11 years in Denby. And I know a lot.
You know, anonymously, you don't want to say anything?
I know a lot of people that don't want to say anything, and some of them, half of them done moved, you know, but and it's some still here, like these meetings that we have now, they be want to come, and then again, they don't want to come. Why? I don't know.
But see, that's something that's going to have to be figured out. Simply because if you don't come forward,
it's the lack of trust too.
If you don't come forward, and I understand that. I understand that because you know when you sent me the thing that said police presence was one of the concerns, I contacted the police department and I spoke to them and I invited them to come here. But then she kept him and hawing about the time and stuff. So I said, well, you know, on second thought, maybe people might be more forthcoming if you weren't there. Whatever their concerns are, I can bring back to you, okay, without a whole bunch of rigmarole and garbage.
They feel like if they tell, stuff happens, get retaliated, people come back, shoot their house up.
Okay, do you know who these people are that come back and shoot them up? But as long as you...
Watley. Miss Watley, yes.
But as long as you don't do anything, it's going to continue to keep happening. You have to make a choice. You have to decide, and you have to decide how to best do it without involving yourself. And like I said, the anonymous tip line is the only way I know to go. I've used the anonymous tip line, you know, and I don't really have to, because I'll be honest with you, if something bothers me bad enough for me to call the police, I'm willing to say whatever I need to say to get it rectified.
And you guys can always let me know what it is, because I don't mind saying whatever it is to the police and without using anybody's name at all.
But that's not the problem. I'm gonna tell you that's not the problem.
But you're saying you live with people who will hurt you if you tell on them.
Yes.
We still having to be alive.
Yes, I mean.
I'm just gonna give you a prime example. There is a youth that is on a certain street. Everybody should know about the street. FBI even knows about the street, but the people are still there.
Okay, when you say the people are still there, were they supposed to be evicted?
Yes. When, in our lease, it states that if there are too many police presence or too many times they come to your house for gun violence or whatever, that's automatic termination.
Okay, now, how does your administration handle that?
But if my police say that there are no records of this, then what are they gonna do?
Because there's no records, because they're scared to report. They're scared because
Who's scared to
the
report?
residents, the residents are really scared to report. I
But
mean,
the police came out there, right?
I've had
If
the
the
police
police
come
came out there, it has to be documented because they have to account for all that time.
Councilwoman Watley, not all the time. I'm gonna give you a prime example. The people were, literally fighting. They were in the street, they were fighting. When I say they were really fighting, they were fighting. They had weapons. And the gentleman, one of the police officers told them, well, I'm not gonna write you up this time. We just gonna take you and go
Then
take
that's when I need whoever that policeman was. I need that name then, okay? I need to know that they're not doing their job, because if they're not doing their job, they got no business working here. Now, you may talk to me about all of the things that aren't happening, but there are people in place that's supposed to make those things happen. Technically, the city of Inkster has nothing to do with housing. The city of Inkster, housing is HUD. That's federal, okay? All we do is vote on the commissioners that you have. So those commissioners work for you. This stuff that you're having, these problems that you're having, these commissioners should know about it. And if you tell those commissioners something that's going on and you don't get a response, that's when you tell me. Because now I can do something about them, okay? I can't do nothing about John over there who's wreaking havoc. That's your administration and those are your commissioners. But when you have a solid problem like that, you say they go over there all the time. I need that. I need that because I want to ask why you commissioners aren't following the rules. And because don't make me quote Mr. Spock, please. The good of the many outweigh the good of the few, okay? So, that's what I need to help you, you know?
They can't do anything about it if there's no report. Right. So how?
But there must be a report. If they were out there last night, you call and you say, I need the report number for last night's incident. They got to give it to you. If they say there was no report, guess who you get to call in? Me. Why wasn't there a report made last night when they called you out there? Because I got a block of time here where it says you wasn't doing nothing. And I don't pay for nothing. Okay? So, anything else? Y'all making me mad. I'm the one yelling. But seriously, we have to work together to solve problems.
Yes. Lord.
Okay?
Say that one more time.
We have to work together to solve problems. Because I don't know nothing about them people over there. But I do know, I will give you an example, okay? For me, personally. Alright? Do you remember the motorcycle gang that moved across the street?
Yes.
Do you remember them?
Yes.
Okay. I was death on them here. Every time they spoke, I called the police. I had over 200 complaints on them. They told me that if I kept a record, which I did, that they could treat them as a nuisance. Are they there?
No.
But guess what? They didn't do nothing about them. They didn't. I know exactly the frustration you're talking about. But we did as a community. We did. We made sure. You know why they left? Everybody keeps saying that I got rid of them. I ain't get rid of them. You really think I'm that powerful? If I was, I wouldn't be living here. No, I'm just kidding. They couldn't get a liquor license after we complained. So they left. There are other ways to skin a cat, always. But you have to work together to do it. That's all I'm saying. And if you know and you don't say something, then it's just going to stay that way forever.
And we just gonna die.
No, you're not.
Well, we are. Yes, we are. Everybody's going to die. Those two assurities, taxes and debt. Yep. Yep.
Some of the stuff you see is just
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Well, like I said, if you don't report it, there's nothing you can do about it. There's the police, you letting them off easy. They don't have to do their job when you don't make them.
Then she keep coming to your house, people see that. She coming to your house, not
Then you tell her, you do not come to my
Can
house.
I meet up with you somewhere?
You do not
People
come to my
watch it.
house.
People
And the
watch
first
stuff.
time she comes to your house after you've asked her not to, guess who you tell then? That's me. And I'm gonna go to the police and find out why you putting this person in danger by going to their house and doing this. Now guess what? They may not keep a record, but I bet you I do. And I bet you I know who to call. You know, her name is Dana Nessel, and she'll be here next week, okay?
Yes.
So, there is always some place you can go. You just have to be willing to do it. At least that's the way I feel about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to introduce to you one of my colleagues who I invited to come. This is Stephen Chisholm. He's a council person for District 6.
Yes.
I mean, District 4, I'm sorry. And he's also, oh, look at you got people.
We've been promoting. When I say we've been promoting, we've been promoting.
I forgot about it.
We've been promoting. We've been promoting.
Two in house.
And
That's
he is currently running for the 26th district, which is the newly drawn political district for Inkster, Westland, Garden City, all of Garden City, and parts of Romulus. That's the new 26th district. And he's running, and I have worked with this man for years, and we definitely need him
Yes.
in there.
Yes.
Now, just to step off the topic for a moment, all politics is local. How many of you heard that? Never?
All the time.
Okay, but politics is local. If you have someone local working for you at different levels, just like I told you about your business here, and that's when you call me, then I have people I can call at that level. I want him to be one of those people, because guess what? He knows me, he understands me, and he will work for me. And that's what you want there. I'll give you a prime example. During this last election, see, black folks, sorry, never ask for what they want.
It came up the wrong way. No, it came down the wrong way. What you think?
Did I do that?
Yeah. You said that.
Black folks.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm serious. We never ask for anything. We don't. We just vote. The last time around, they said we got to get Trump out of there. You didn't ask Joe Biden for anything. You just, so Trump's gone, and what do you got? Same stuff you had before, right? So you have to learn to make this work for you too. I mean, look at the LBGTQFILNOP group. They, look at how many strides they've made in the past 5 years. And we've been doing this for what, 400? And we still in the same place we are? Something ain't working. And we have to learn to make it work. Once again, it's that cohesive ability. That's putting the right people in the right places to make your effort come to reality. Because, I don't know this. Okay, so are we through with the police? Because like I said, call me. But don't call me with no garbage, okay? When you have that information that you passed on, so I can talk to these people intelligently about what happened. This person made the effort and you failed them. And don't think I won't bring it up at a council meeting, because I tell you what, one thing that happens, you can call people all week long. Okay, they're not cutting the grass here, they're not cutting the grass here, they're not cutting the grass here, and the grass don't get cut. Come to council meeting and say, they didn't cut the grass here. Oh, we're going to get that done for you right away, Miss Johnson, okay? So, there's mechanisms, there's things you can use to make what you need happen, okay? So, does anybody else have any complaints about the police? So y'all happy with him now? That's a joke. That's a joke. Okay, so, oh, no, go ahead, sir.
I was gonna say, just to give you guys some insight, last night at council meeting, it was last night, the police department let us know that they are getting ready to bring on new body cameras. So different interactions and things like that any of us have. As soon as they interact with a citizen, that body camera is supposed to automatically be on. And the way it works too, as soon as they activate their lights and sirens in the car, it automatically turns them on as well. So that's another, I guess you could say safety net or level of confirmation when you call the police out and you say the police never came to my house, or they came to my house and they weren't supposed to, they went over here and then they deny it, it'll be recorded. And so that's another mechanism as far as when council's checks and balances is looking into it. We'll say we can have supervisors, chief, whoever review the footage and confirm this is what transpired. So either someone in there is lying, but it'll be a lot more clear. We have body cams now, but we're moving over to some better, different ones. Just give you guys a heads up. That's another level of security or confirmation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but here, let me give you a little, oh, go ahead, sir.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Okay, my name is Pastor R. Sykes, Rigby Sykes. We bought the Holy Family, and we've been there for October will be 2 years. And a lot of things we're doing over there. We just got finished. For example, we just completed our food pantry over there. Also, I had meetings with the mayor of the individuals to kind of bring back to the community. So eventually, I would like to have a meeting at our church to talk about what we can do and how we can help to address some of the issues that's going on in Denby, etc. We had a recent incident back about a month ago. We had somebody break in one of our visitors' cars and actually broke the window out and stole the purse, whatever. And we called the police. There was another incident that happened maybe about 2 weeks ago, and about 5, 6, 7 cars showed up. I want to connect with the community, with the Denby community, and also the housing individual. Anybody in housing, anybody that lives in these housing, to see how we can better assist Councilwoman Watley and Chisholm to better the community, so that we can just uplift everybody and be a part of the solution and not the problem. And so
Well, make sure you leave your information with
Will
us.
do.
Okay, and don't feel shy about coming to council and introducing yourself and
Okay.
expressing that same sentiment.
Okay. Thank Ms. Charlotte for inviting me. She sent me an invitation. I'm also a school teacher as well. So we're going to be starting some tutorial sessions for students. So we'll be sending in information to Ms. Coachman and also to the housing, to that department, and start tutorial sessions as well. So I'd love to get an opportunity to talk with you more about that, and also with you.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, and we were still talking about the police, right? Was everybody satisfied with what they need to do, even if it scares you, you know? I'll tell you something else that's interesting that people do is write letters. They don't have to sign them, they can be anonymous too, but they can have information, you know? And one other thing is, I mean, everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got a cell phone. You can take pictures. There's something that's going wrong, and send that. I mean, if you feel so inclined, never put yourself in jeopardy for things of that nature. Never. But if it's too much, and here's another thing, you all have explained all of these problems to me. I am a proponent of personal responsibility, okay? Have you come up with any solutions yourself? Because a lot of times there are things you've thought of to do that these other people haven't. And those things should be expressed. So if you all have any solutions about how you can go about reporting these things without involving yourself, I'd love to hear that too. You can take it to them. You can take it to the police department. Because I tell you what, I used to do the Memorial Day parade, and I did not like the way the police treated the residents at the parade, okay? So I sat down and I had a meeting with them. Okay? And I told them what I expected from them during that. The next parade, they were so nice. The folks were coming up and complimenting what they did and how they did it and things of that nature. So a lot of times it just takes that to express it, because a lot of times people aren't thinking what you're thinking. So, you know, let us know if there's something you think can be done to do that. Okay, the third thing on you all's agenda, if we